The morning sun rose lazily over the shimmering waters of Lekki Phase 1, casting its golden rays upon a stretch of mansions that sparkled like jewels behind high walls. Among them stood the pride of the estate, a sprawling white mansion with glass balconies, imported marble floors, and security guards stationed like statues at every corner. It was the home of Mr. Richard Adeyemi, a man everyone in Lagos either admired or envied. The 52-year-old real estate mogul was known for his flamboyant lifestyle: Rolls-Royce, private jet, charity foundations, and a young beautiful wife who graced magazine covers. But behind the picture-perfect life was a world darker than anyone imagined. At exactly 6:45 a.m. on a humid Tuesday morning, Richard's housekeeper, Grace, entered his master bedroom to deliver his breakfast. She knocked 3 times but got no response. The lights were still on, and the air conditioner hummed faintly. When she pushed the door open, her tray slipped from her trembling hands. Mr. Richard lay sprawled on the Italian rug, motionless, his skin pale and his lips blue. The untouched glass of wine beside him was shattered on the floor, and a faint smell of something metallic filled the air. Grace screamed. The guards came running. Within minutes, the police arrived. Lagos gossip blogs were already buzzing before the ambulance left the compound. Lekki billionaire found dead in his mansion. Was it suicide or murder? Detective Tunde Kinwale, one of the most respected officers in the Lagos State CID, was assigned to the case. He'd seen many crimes in the city's glittering high-class neighborhoods, but something about this one felt different. Richard's wife, Adana, was 32. Stunning, elegant, and soft-spoken. Born into a middle-class family in Enugu, she'd met Richard at a business event 8 years earlier when she worked as a marketing executive. Their marriage had become the talk of Lagos society, a Cinderella story. But in truth, Adana's life in the Lekki mansion was not the fairy tale the tabloids imagined. Her husband had become increasingly distant, secretive, and controlling. They slept in separate rooms most nights. She'd grown used to pretending, smiling at parties, posting glamorous pictures, and hiding her unhappiness behind designer sunglasses. When Detective Tund questioned her that morning, she appeared calm, too calm. "Madam, when last did you see your husband alive?" "Last night around 10 p.m., she said. "He was in his study. I went to bed early." Her voice didn't shake. Her eyes didn't flinch. But her hands trembled ever so slightly when she reached for a glass of water. Tun took note of that. He also noticed the faint perfume scent in the study that wasn't hers, a musky male fragrance mixed with tobacco. At noon, Michael Benson, Richard's longtime business partner, arrived at the mansion, pretending to be shocked. He was tall, handsome, and charming in his early 40s. Together, he and Richard had built Royal Crest Properties, one of the biggest real estate firms in Lagos. But behind the glossy success was a brewing storm. The company had been under investigation for money laundering, and insiders whispered that Richard planned to cut Michael off before the EFCC raid exposed their shady transactions. Tund asked him a few questions. Michael put on a performance: tears, disbelief, anger. But his expensive wristwatch and designer shoes couldn't hide the nervous tapping of his fingers. "When was the last time you saw Mr. Adeyemi?" "Yesterday afternoon. We had a board meeting. He seemed stressed. I told him to rest." Tund nodded slowly. He'd heard that line too many times from men who had much to hide. The third person of interest was Pastor Emmanuel Okafor, Richard's best friend and spiritual mentor. The pastor arrived later that day in a black SUV with tinted windows. He was known across Lagos as the Anointed Voice, founder of Living Grace Chapel, a megachurch in Lekki. To the world, Pastor Emmanuel was a symbol of holiness, but Tund's instincts flared the moment he saw him. The pastor's eyes darted nervously as he blessed the corpse. Later, forensic experts confirmed traces of cyanide in the wine glass beside the body. The case officially became a murder investigation. Who poisoned Richard Adeyemi? The wife? The business partner? The pastor? Or was it someone else entirely? Detective Tun's team combed through CCTV footage from the mansion. Strangely, the cameras inside the study had been disabled hours before Richard's death. The only footage recovered showed a black SUV arriving at 9:47 p.m., the same model the pastor drove. But when confronted, Pastor Emmanuel denied visiting. "I was in church till midnight preparing for my sermon," he insisted. "Can anyone confirm that?" "Of course. My assistant pastor and choir members were with me." Yet, when police cross-checked, the assistant pastor claimed the lead pastor left the premises around 9:30 p.m. Something wasn't adding up. Meanwhile, Adana had hired one of Lagos' top lawyers and refused to answer further questions without legal counsel. Tund wasn't discouraged. He'd solved bigger puzzles before. He decided to start digging into the victim's phone records, bank transactions, and hidden correspondences. 2 days later, the investigation took an explosive turn. Among Richard's text messages was a series of romantic exchanges with a woman named Vivian, a 26-year-old model and influencer. The last message Richard sent her was at 9:20 p.m. on the night he died. "Come to the house. I need to see you. Urgently." Vivian was tracked down in her Banana Island apartment. She looked terrified when the detectives arrived. "I swear I didn't kill him," she cried. "He called me, yes. But when I got there the gate was locked. I honked and no one came out, so I left." Her story seemed believable, until Tund found a receipt in her car from a nearby pharmacy, showing she had purchased sleeping pills the same night. She broke down and confessed. "He wanted to end things," she sobbed. "He said he was going back to his wife. I just wanted him to suffer, not die." But forensic results showed cyanide, not sleeping pills. Vivian was ruled out as the direct killer, but her confession revealed how messy Richard's private life had become. While going through Richard's financial records, Tund discovered several offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands and Dubai, each linked to Michael Benson. Further digging revealed that 4.7 billion Nigerian nairas had been transferred into Michael's personal account days before Richard's death. When confronted, Michael claimed it was a business loan. Tund smirked. "A loan without documentation. From a man planning to remove you from the company." The truth was closing in. Michael had motive. He had access. But he also had an alibi. He'd been at a private club in Ikoyi with witnesses at the time of death. Or so he claimed. One CCTV camera from a toll gate contradicted him, showing his car heading toward Lekki at 9:40 p.m. that night. Meanwhile, Tund uncovered something else. An audio recording on Richard's phone. Richard had secretly recorded his last conversation with Pastor Emmanuel. In the clip, Richard's voice was trembling. "You promised the land would be clean, Emmanuel. But now EFCC is circling. You took the money meant for the investors. Calm down, Richard. I'll fix it. You'd better, because if I fall, I'll take you down with me." The conversation ended abruptly. The pastor's fingerprints were also found on a glass of wine from the study. When confronted with the evidence, his pious facade crumbled. "Yes, I was there," he admitted. "He called me that night, angry and threatening. I went to calm him down. But when I left, he was alive." "Did you poison him?" Tund asked. "No. I swear before God." But as the investigation progressed, a lab report revealed the poison was mixed into the wine bottle, likely during the night before the pastor arrived. Adana's silence throughout the investigation was unnerving. She neither cried publicly nor spoke to the media. People began whispering, "The wife did it." One evening, Tund visited her again. "Madam, you and your husband. How was your marriage in recent months?" She sighed, eyes distant. "It was dead. He had mistresses. He laundered money. He trusted no one, not even me." Then she paused. "Detective, sometimes I wondered if God forgot me in that house. Every day I lived a lie." Her words lingered in Tund's mind. He had a hunch. There was something she wasn't saying. The breakthrough came when forensics found a faint lipstick stain on the rim of the poisoned glass. It matched Adana's lipstick shade found in her bathroom. When confronted, she broke down completely. "Yes," she confessed softly. "I killed him." Tund stared at her in silence. "Why, Mrs. Adeyemi?" Tears streamed down her cheeks. "Because he was going to ruin me." She revealed everything: the fake marriage, the emotional abuse, and the threat Richard made to expose her secret affair with his partner Michael. "He said he'd destroy me. I couldn't let him." But as Tund reviewed her statement, something didn't add up. Adana claimed she poisoned his drink around 8 p.m., yet Richard was seen texting and drinking at 9:30 p.m., meaning someone else tampered with the drink later. A deeper forensic test revealed 2 poison traces: sleeping pills and cyanide. That meant 2 attempts were made on Richard's life, by 2 different people. Adana's sleeping pills didn't kill him. Someone else added the cyanide, the real cause of death. Tund gathered the suspects again in the mansion's living room: Adana, Michael, Pastor Emmanuel, and Vivian. "You all played a part in this man's death," he began. "Some for love, some for money, and some for pride." He turned to Michael. "You poisoned him after learning he'd exposed your offshore accounts, didn't you?" Michael's lips tightened. "Prove it." Tund dropped a photo on the table. CCTV footage showing Michael's driver pouring wine into a glass from the bottle after 9:30 p.m. The driver had confessed under pressure. "Olga said I should add the powder so he'll sleep off." The powder was cyanide. Michael froze. His empire collapsed that night. Adana was charged with attempted murder. Michael with murder. Pastor Emmanuel with fraud and conspiracy. Vivian was released but blacklisted in the entertainment industry. The case became the biggest scandal in Lagos history. Royal Crest Properties went bankrupt. The pastor's church lost half its members. Adana's glamorous friends abandoned her. Michael was sentenced to life imprisonment. And Detective Tund. He became a national hero. But even he felt no victory. "There are no winners in a life built on lies," he said quietly to a journalist. Richard Adeyemi's mansion was sealed off, a silent monument to greed and deceit. Months later, the estate agents finally sold it to another wealthy buyer. But neighbors claimed strange things still happened at night: flickering lights, footsteps, and whispers of a man saying, "Don't trust them." In Lagos, the Lekki mansion mystery became a cautionary tale. Behind every luxury car and champagne toast, there were secrets and prices to pay. People learned that chasing wealth without conscience leads to emptiness. That fake lives built on deceit eventually crumble. That peace is worth more than all the mansions in Lekki. Living fake lives and chasing wealth at all costs leads to destruction.
Kindly subscribe, like, and comment for more interesting stories.